right, guys, welcome back to the episode of the TO Show, man. I'm pumped here. We got a 2-for-1 special for you guys this week. It's going to be some awesome, old Albany teammates. But before we dive into things, guys, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, man, to the channel. And guys, make sure you guys turn on your notifications on as well. So you guys don't miss any other podcast or, our next awesome video. Last time I looked at the analytics and stuff like that, only like 5% of you are actually like subscribers to the channel. So man, if you guys love what you're seeing, tune in, make sure you hit that subscribe button. All good vibes here. We got some awesome content coming to you this week and more weeks to come. But furthermore, hey guys, let's dive into these things. Like I said, we got a 2-for-1 special. We have two awesome guests this week. We got Damon Burton and we got Mazon Walker, guys. What's going on, guys?
How you doing, Odie?
Doing well, man.
Awesome. How's life treating you guys?
It's been good, man. In a new transition, and we're in a new city, so just figuring ourselves out, trying to find our environment, everything like that. But we're making our way, man.
Awesome. All right, guys. So how kind of was the, you guys were at Albany, of course, but just talk a little bit about your guys' kind of path to New Haven. You guys kind of had similar paths in Albany, but just talk a little bit about your prior path to Albany and then now at New Haven.
So yeah, in high school, I went to a really good high school. So like a lot of college coaches and stuff used to come around and whatnot. And I remember I went to a camp, and that's when I first got introduced to Albany. And then they offered me through my scholarship, through Twitter DMs, a scholarship. And that's when I decided to go there. And my process there was going really well. I got hurt a bunch of times. That's the only thing I feel like that held me back. And then my transition to when I entered the portal and everything, it was just more, I just wanted a different opportunity somewhere else. And I'm so grateful for Albany giving me the chance to play ball there and my first opportunity to get there. But once I entered the portal, it was very scary because of like the new rules. So it was so many people in the portal. So I didn't know how it was going to carry out for me. And then New Haven hit me up, and I got my first scholarship from Frostburg, so I got to shout them out because they showed me love first. But then New Haven hit me up, and they're a really good program, a good school. The coaches showed a lot of love, and I just felt like very comfortable here. And on top of it, they offered one of my closest friends that I came into Albany with, was my roommate, lived together. So like it made the process a lot easier having somebody there with me that I would know and like a familiar face. And now that I'm here, I'm loving it. I'm enjoying the energy from the team. Like the workouts are good. The coaching staff's dope. It's just I'm excited for the new opportunity to be out here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everything he just said. The path when I moved from high school to college was definitely treacherous because I wasn't sure where I wanted to go. Like Damon, I came from a good high school, talked to a lot of good coaches, talked to Albany for maybe 2 weeks. And throughout the whole time, they weren't sure because of my height. And eventually they pulled the trigger, thankfully. I appreciate them for giving me the chance to take my talents to the next level. Watching me grow over the last 4.5 years. When I went into the transfer portal, I wasn't initially sure how I would be perceived, especially with PTSD from high school thoughts of recruitment. But I got a lot of good love from a lot of D1 programs. Took a visit to New Haven. Although it's D2, it's definitely it lives higher than the expectation I had for it. I fell in love with everything that came with the package of coming here. It was definitely a nice transition. I've enjoyed every step of the process. When you can see potential like unfold in front of you, you just got to take advantage of it. Yeah. So it's a lot of possibility and a lot of potential. We just have to make the most of it.
Yeah, of course. That's awesome. So what kind of triggered you guys into kind of decision into, leaving? We all, anybody's not aware, of all the transfer portal and all that stuff, man. That's a really scary place. There's, you could end up not playing football ever again if, nobody wants you or anything like that. Of course, it's just scary, especially when you have years of eligibility left. But what kind of made you guys, what went into the decision of going into the portal? It wasn't an easy one, of course, but what kind of factored in?
The main thing for me was like, I knew my potential, and Albany gave me a bunch of opportunities to show that, but I feel like other places probably would give me more opportunity to do so and be able to put my talents on a showcase type of thing. So my perspective was I learned everything I could learn from Albany. played at a D1 program, had great coaches, learned many different positions, learned different defenses. And now I just think that I have the ability to go somewhere else and produce there, and have a fresh start is always good, I think. And right now it's just pretty much, I'm just wanted to be able to go somewhere where I can start fresh, make my new name for myself and everything like that. And that's kind of what made me decide to go into the portal.
So when it comes to my decision to go into the portal, it was really more academic based. So I couldn't get into the desired master's program I wanted to get into. And the only option that they had as like in turn was a master's program I wasn't willing to, spend the rest of my life trying to get a career in. You understand? Mm-hmm. So when I came to New Haven, they offered me an amazing opportunity. So the master's program that I'm currently in is sports management.
Okay.
Been around sports my entire life. So the way that classes fit into everyday life and the things that I can take from class, apply to life, and vice versa, It's really nice to see everything come full circle, not feel like I'm just going through the motions.
Yeah. I mean, so what kind of, outside of, those reasons, what, of course, those are the main core reasons, but did you guys kind of, for me personally, what I entered the portal as well, and I'm, glad to find a new home and all that stuff now. But did you guys, how much thinking and thought went into your guys' decision? Because I think sometimes at our level, unfortunately, we're all younger, 20, 19, 21, 22-year-olds, and sometimes the grass isn't always greener, but how much thought process and outside factors kind of went into it? Did you guys kind of like sit down and analyze it, or was it just kind of like, hey, based on this solo decision that, this is the reason why I'm leaving?
It was definitely a compilation of, of thoughts, factors, processes, family. Like, it was a lot more to consider than just, what school would be nice.
Yeah.
You have to think about where you're going to live. You got to think about gas. You got to think about the environment, because every atmosphere isn't the same.
Yeah.
To say so it definitely took an enormous amount of thought, but I'm glad that I made the decision.
Yeah. My biggest question was, do I leave a full scholarship? And because I'm the first in my family to go to college. A lot of people where I'm from don't really get the opportunity to go to college, let alone for free. So I have 2 years eligibility left, and it was, like you said, it's not guaranteed that you find a new home. Your career could be done. So entering was very scary for me, because I was like, do I leave a full ride to not potentially get a scholarship again somewhere else? And that was pretty much where I was going back and forth with. It was like, do I leave this, or do I not, or do I just stick with what I'm going on here? Mm-hmm. And then it came down to where pretty much when I spoke to my mother, she was pretty much my biggest motivator. She said she has my back no matter what, and she's going to support me and help me out get through the process. So that right there helped me pretty much solidify what I wanted to enter the portal, because I knew that no matter what, she's going to be proud of me and help me out and have my back. So that right there was I was scared to let her down. And at the end of the day, she told me it's not I wouldn't be able to do that. Just keep doing what I'm doing, and she's going to be happy. So
I'd agree. I think there's also some sort of trust that you have to trust in yourself, and you have to be able to believe in yourself and have confidence in yourself that you're going to find a new home. But I think, like I said, I'd agree with you guys. There's got to be some sort of thought process. It can't be an emotional decision to leave, just because you guys have, it's not like you guys are freshmen or sophomores who, you haven't been around. You guys been around the game for a while now. You guys have been around. You've been in college football for now, 4 or 5 years. So, I mean, you guys have seen the ins and outs of it and understand it to an extent of that part. And I think that's important, but you guys are smart enough to be like, hey, but I'm not just doing an impulse decision. It's just a very well thought out process, and it's very analytical and stuff like that, which I think is important. But at the end of the day, it might hurt a coach or something. A coach might be butthurt or whatever the case may be. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's important about making other people proud, but I think it's internally doing what's best for you and what's best for you. And sometimes what's best for you might not always be what's best for you know, the
Everybody,
team that you just played for and stuff like that, because, you know, you could have, you know, we've all on the same team, we all contributed in some certain way, you know, and everyone does on the team. And it just, some people have a little bit bigger pieces than others in that scenario. So I think it's in any sort of transfer, anybody who's on the fence about it, I think it's important to sit back and also be a devil's advocate for yourself and be like, I think D put a good, pretty picture on it, was like, you know, like, do I leave? I'm already on full scholarship. You know, do I leave and I risk, hey, I might actually have to go pay for school or do all these other things, or do I do the safe thing? And sometimes it's good to take calculate a risk is. Do you guys, what would be your kind of biggest advice to anybody who's even thinking or contemplating, or even people who are just like, you know, just outside information or inside information that maybe the public doesn't know about, like the transfer portal and what goes into the transfer portal decision making and stuff like that? What's your biggest advice you would give to anybody about that?
I think my biggest advice would be get your information. One, talk to admissions, make sure how many years of eligibility you got, because that's huge. Two, make sure you have your highlight tape ready, because if you enter the portal and you don't have your highlight tape ready, how are you going to put yourself out there? And then that's going to delay your response from coaches and stuff like that. So my biggest advice probably would be just be on top of your game and make sure that you're 100% bought into the decision, that you have all your information that you need to do. Make sure you research, look up colleges that you're interested in, look up coaches, find their Twitters, find their Instagrams, find their emails. And then once you do enter the portal, you have to put yourself out there more than you have ever in your life. I probably DM'd over 1,000 coaches, and only maybe couple hundred answered, maybe 100 answered, but you have to hit up everybody that you possibly can, because you never know that one coach might give you the opportunity. So just pretty much reach out to as many coaches as you can, get as much information from these schools as you can, and sell yourself. You're your biggest promoter.
Correct. Mazon, what would you be your kind of biggest advice to anybody? You know, you've been around the game for a while. What do you think is your biggest advice to anybody thinking about it or who doesn't know about the transfer portal?
I would say know your facts, like know everything that you've done, everything that you can do, you know. Definitely make sure that, as he said earlier, make sure that you're your biggest promoter. Like nobody is going to fight for you to have a shot as much as you. Nobody's going to sleep but you, for you. Nobody wakes up for you but you. You have to do what you can to make sure that everybody that you want to see you can see you. But aside from that, I'll say to make sure that you have your highlight tape done before you get into the portal. Because as he said, it can definitely delay your processes. And I didn't release my tape until about a week after I was in the portal. So, I mean, I still got good feedback before and after dropping my highlight tape, but nonetheless, I could have maximized it had I done it when I was supposed to, instead of after the fact playing catch up. So make sure you're on top of yourself to get your stuff done for you.
What would you guys say, like from an academic side? Because we all understand the football side of things, like having that tape, like it is a big piece, but the other, like I would say, I mean, people say it's 50-50, but I'd call it more, you know, football is probably 75 and academics 25% when it comes to like, you know, coaches, because you actually have to be eligible and be able to get into the school to an extent. But what would you say is like your biggest, you know, advice academically for anybody in the transfer portal or anything?
Obviously, the higher GPA is, the more opportunities will come your way, because you'll be able to get into that school or whatnot. However, I didn't have the best GPA, but I was always eligible, and I always held over a 2.5 or higher. So, I mean, I always strive to get better grades than that, but like, you definitely have to have a decent grades to get looked at. Because I know I probably missed opportunities from different schools based off my GPA not being a 3.0 or higher than that, like a 2.8, something like that. So honestly, the higher your GPA is, just stay on top of your school, because it'll help your process a lot easier than having a low grade and then have to fight in like getting into schools. It will be very difficult if you have a low grade.
I agree with everything that he said. Academics are a crucial factor. As you said, 25-75. I agree with the percentage. That 25 is everything. If you miss it, that's not passing anything in, especially a master's class.
Yeah.
So I would just say make sure that you have to make sure that you do what you need to do when you need to do it, ahead of when you need to do it, really.
Yeah.
Because if you're doing it the day that is due, chances are you're turning it in late, and that's doing nothing but hindering you from what you could really be doing.
Yeah, I think it's important to, I'd agree with what you guys are saying is, if you guys are even thinking about entering the transfer portal or anything doing that, make sure you're on top of your game. I'd say, like I said, make sure you guys have some sort of highlight tape that, highlights your best plays, and put your best plays first. Coaches don't watch your entire highlight tape. It could be an hour. They ain't going to watch the entire hour. They're going to watch the first like a minute, 2 minutes of your highlight tape and assess that. And from there, they will, if they like you enough, they'll actually watch your entire thing. But if majority of coaches don't have time to watch your entire tape, 30 second, bet your best couple clips, 30 seconds to a minute, 2 minutes, you're trying to, sell yourself. And that's a big part of the piece of the puzzle is, if you're going to enter the transfer portal, you kind of got to grow up. In high school, you kind of had your parents to help you out, do these other things. At the end of the day, this is onus all on you. You don't also have your high school coach. You could have your high school coach vouching for you, but it's all on you. You're the one who's got to reach out. You got to do these other things. I think even before you even enter any other things like that, I think it's important to have your ducks in a row, be able to say, all right, do I have a highlight tape? Do I have some schools that do I have a couple dream schools that I'm like, man, if everything aligned perfect, this would be great. Do I have some schools that I know, hey, these are schools that, man, I know if everything went okay or good, I could probably make it to these schools. And then you probably have some backup schools. Like if everything went wrong, I'd have an opportunity to be able to go to these schools and stuff like that, and do research on certain schools to be able to be like, hey, is this a good fit? If you don't like the West Coast or you don't like the city, it's not worth your time or wasting your energy reaching out to a place where, hey, if I don't like the country or I don't like the city, going to a school or a place that is located in those certain places or in those demographics. So I think it's important to have that, and academics is key as well. Being able to make sure that you are eligible, but you're also meeting into those requirements. We all did kind of grad transfer ordeals and stuff like that, but understanding that if you're an undergraduate, most likely not all your credits are going to transfer. So knowing that, hey, you might be set a whole semester or 2 semesters behind if you guys transfer. When did you guys know that you guys wanted to transfer? When does this decision, you guys kind of transferred relatively, I wouldn't say relatively soon, but, kind of right after the season. I wouldn't say right after the season, but, in that time frame. But when did you guys know that you wanted to transfer?
I had the thought of it, probably like midway season, just because the season wasn't going the way I thought it was going to go, with more personal reasons. Like I wasn't seeing it filled as much as I wanted to. And I wasn't getting opportunity to be on the field as much as I wanted to, type of thing. And I thought I deserved it. And at this point, it's a business. Like playing a sport in college is a business, and I wanted to be able to put myself out there to actually play and showcase my talent. So maybe I could go to the next level.
Yeah.
And think. Yeah, so that kind of was my idea. But I was also on the leaning side because I love my team. Like I had a good time out there. Like I had fun and stuff like that. But like when it came to decision, like I didn't make my final decision probably till after the last game. And it was probably took like a week after the last game. I sat down and talked to my parents again. Like I spoke to my mother about it like during the season, and she's like, no, just keep your head smooth. And then after the season, it was kind of like, all right, here we go, type of thing.
So I felt like it was, as I said earlier, I feel like it was bigger than ball for me. So when I was trying to figure out what master's program I would be able to get into at Albany, they kept telling me that I wasn't able to get into what I wanted to get into. So I was thinking, I was talking it over with my parents, and we were trying to figure out, was it worth it for me to stay, play ball, get my education paid for, but I'm still doing undergrad work when I could be getting into a master's program and getting all of the same accolades. After I got the final denial from my academic advisor for the last grad program I wanted to get into, I knew that I couldn't stay at Albany and do what I wanted to do for the next step of life.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think it's important to have some sort of, I wouldn't say time frame, but be able to outweigh your options and explore all your options. You know, to stay at your university as long as you can, because I think you know, the transfer portal is kind of scary place and stuff like that. I think it's just really, there's so many people in it, and you just never know. It's kind of like the wild west out there, and being able to you know, anything can happen. You know, it's just the craziest stuff can happen. You know, the people who are getting the most offers are usually the people that you're like, how are they getting the offers, you know, and stuff like that. It's all almost like high school all over again, but even crazier. You know, you guys went from D1 to D2, and you know, there's nothing wrong with that. What came, you know, some people have an ego to be like, yeah, it's D1 or bust, you know, and stuff like that. And I know I was kind of like that in high school. I'm not going to admit it straight up. I only wanted to go Division 1. Any Division 2 that reached out to me, you know, I'd either ignore or, you know, wasn't really interested at all. Wouldn't really show love to them at all. What kind of made you guys get around, I would say, either your ego or being okay with going Division 2? And I'm not trying to downplay Division 2, but it's more of like a ego thing, or like a mentality or a mental side of things.
I definitely had the same mindset. Like, I wanted to go D1 so bad, so bad, so bad. But then again, when I got to New Haven, they run the program like a D1 school would. They win a lot of games. They just won the conference this year, got a ring. They're bringing the same team back. And it's like, I want to go somewhere that's going to win. And also they put people in the league as well. But I wanted to go somewhere that wins. This school wins championships. And the way they run the program here, you wouldn't even believe that it's a D2 school. The structure, the coaching staff, like, they run it really well here. And also they're building new facilities. It's going to look like a D1 school at the end of the day. And like I said, they win here. And that's what really sold me about going to this school, was that they win. Do I want to go to a D1 school that doesn't really win a lot, or like go to a different D2 school that didn't really win, or go to somewhere that has like a winning program and they win championships? And just, I want to get a ring before I leave college.
Yeah.
I want to get 2 rings before I leave college. So I agree with everything, you know, like, I used to feel the same way. I used to just dream, for real. I used to dream about D1 offers, but like, when it was my second time in recruitment, I started to realize the division isn't everything. Like, especially when it comes to getting to the league, if you're good, they're gonna find you anywhere.
Correct.
First of all. So aside from that, like, it was just, I just knew that it was bigger things, like winning. I care about winning. So that was another thing.
When you guys were looking at your new schools, you know, of course, Mazon, it was important for you to find, you know, the right, you know, graduate program for you to be in. But what other things kind of, you guys touched on a little bit about winning. What kind of things that stood out in New Haven, but also what was your kind of priority system? What were you guys kind of looking into a school?
Honestly, it was like an amalgamation of all of them. Like, it wasn't one specific thing that was a seller, you know, like, it was a couple things together. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, a combination of things.
It was more than one thing that sold me. But when it came to the athletic side of things, like, the coaching staff was down to earth, you know, like, not hard to get along with, like, able to have a conversation with you, like a good conversation, you know?
Yeah.
Like a good conversation. The facilities are nice. Like, the facilities are nice, and they're only getting better with the new renovations that they're doing. The academics, I got into as the graduate program I was talking about earlier, sports management. I'm enjoying that, and I can't wait to, you know, like, graduate and then be able to actually do something with it, and not feel like I'm going to be stuck behind the desk 9 to 5 at, you know, like, just doing a desk job. Like, be able to still be involved with the world of sports that I fell in love with since before I could walk. So, yeah.
I know with me, it was kind of like, I leaned more towards New Haven once they offered Mazon, because I was leaning towards Frostburg just because they were the first people that showed me love. So that means I felt like they really wanted me there, type of thing, like, first opportunity. But then once they offered my brother, you know, it was like, like, why wouldn't I want to go somewhere where a familiar face, where I'm not, you know, just fresh by myself? And like, this, I've known him for 5 years. Like, this is really my, like, I feel way more comfortable here with him. And like he said, like the coaching staff, like they used to reach out all the time, used to give me calls, daily check-ins. Like they just showed me that they valued me. And that's huge. I wanted to go somewhere, not only like they want me to play there, but they also value me as a person and a player. So like I had tremendous respect for the coaches here just because they made me feel like they wanted me here very, very, very bad. And when I got here, it didn't change. They still show a lot of love.
Really didn't change.
They reach out all the time. They come have genuine conversations with us. Like they're real people. And like I thought, like most places you would think like, oh, they're just doing that for recruitment basis. But once you get here, it's literally the same
love.
And that's what I love about it. Like it's literally love out here, and it's dope. It's a breath of fresh air.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think it's always good to find good, whether it's D1, D2, D3, it's always good to see awesome people with fitting in with the right program and finding the right program for them. And I'm glad you guys have been able to find that at New Haven and stuff like that. I think that's very big. Was it how you said to talk a little bit about familiar faces, but Dev Holmes, shout out to Dev, Dev. It's awesome. He's been on the podcast here. Actually our first guest on the podcast, but he's at New Haven. How much a factor in being able to talk to Dev and getting like the vibe from him, and because he's been there, he played there for this season, had an awesome breakout year. But how much of that kind of factored in being able to know somebody who you've been able to talk to and grow close to on your team?
Definitely shout out to Dev, because once I got on New Haven's radar, they knew that obviously we played together. So they had him contact me, and pretty much I got the insides and outs from Dev before I even stepped on campus, before I really got information from the coaches. He pretty much laid it all on the line for me. And after he helped me pretty much throughout the whole recruit process, like talking about New Haven and keeping me in the loop of things and everything like that. So yeah, Dev, it was dope to talk to Dev, because I got like the player side of it. Besides the coaches are going to sell you on this thing, but you want to get real details from a person that's been there. And I got that from Dev, and he helped out a lot, honestly.
Yeah.
Shout out to Dev.
Big shouts out to Dev.
Oh, that's awesome. I think that's awesome. I think it's good to, it seems like, New Haven is turning into, the old, find out all the best players out of Albany here, in the future and stuff like that, which is awesome. Love to see my boys, being successful and seeing you guys continue to be happy and find the right place no matter where you go. And I hope honestly the coaches everywhere who we've interacted with and stuff like that generally feel like that, whether it's on your team or another team. It shows that they kind of just truly care about you. But as we shift gears here, Mazon, you talked a little about kind of your sports management program and what is something you're looking to do. What is that specific job or specific things that you're kind of looking to get into with that sports management degree after college? NFL, of course, is number one. That's the end goal for everyone. Getting the big check there and getting a shot there, and we hope we all get a shot. But reality is not everyone's. Even if we make it there, it stands for not for long. 2 to 3. Year lifespan in the NFL. So, but what are you looking to do with that sports management kind of degree?
So, it would be nice to either get into coaching. Like I would definitely value being able to coach I would say at any level, but I would at least like to start with college.
Yeah.
But aside from hands-on aspect, it'd be cool if I was able to work to become a GM. I'm not saying that obviously I'm not equipped to be one right now, but with training and practice, I would like to have my end goal be a GM. What
has been some like research that you've done to be able to kind of get you there? I've always explored. I wouldn't say I've always wanted to be a coach. Definitely not at the college level. That's just not for me. I've been being in college business of college football. I'd be like, man, I don't like it as much as some people do. But the GM side, that's something that interests me. What are some research or stuff you've done to be able to be like, oh man, what's the next step to getting to work to that GM?
When it comes to like my want to be a GM, like that stems from what I've seen through countless hours of like watching Hard Knocks, all the real like football shows that deal with like the behind the scenes of like what makes a team function.
Yeah.
Or I don't know. I like being able to figure out problems and get paid for it.
Would you be like open to like necessarily not necessarily being a GM at like for the football, but for like other sports as well?
I definitely would. I feel like, like I understand more than just the game of football. I understand other elements as well.
Kind of going back here, so being a GM, or do you kind of, or wanting to be a GM, do you get involved like with the draft or like kind of stuff like that? Do you have like a special intrigue like when it comes to like drafting or like trades or like salary cap and stuff like that in the NFL?
So when I was younger, me and my dad used to sit down and then he would like explain to me everything that he would do. So like I started to get more hands-on like through high school, but when it came to like me growing up and falling in love with like the process, he used to have this big chalkboard and he used to write down like who he felt like. He used to have his own mock draft, basically, like put the stats, the values of the players, like what he saw them doing long term. So I don't know, just seeing my dad do that like all those years, and he wouldn't just do it for football either. He would do it for the NBA draft as well. So
wow.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Well, Mazon, maybe we'll have to do like a little draft spectacular, maybe upcoming here in April, and get you on a little live special, and we could maybe get you back on for later for a mock draft, and maybe a little our thoughts on each pick and stuff like that. I love the NFL draft. I don't know. There's something about it, and like building a team or building like managing or building a team at any level, but even at the highest level of NFL, it just like, I find that really fascinating. I did one last year, a little mock draft on the podcast, which was pretty cool. But I'll even watch, like I won't go in depth and like go quite crazy and watch like film and stuff like the hardcore film, but I like watch like highlights and stuff like that of like different people and different needs and stuff like that. I always found that really interesting.
So definitely got something in common. Yes, sir.
Yeah, that's awesome. So D Bert, what of course the goal for you is making it to the NFL and doing stuff like that. But have you thought about kind of like you have 2 years left, but have you kind of thought about after football? It all ends for us at some point, but what are your thoughts on kind of what you want to do after football?
I'm also in the sports management master program.
Okay, sweet.
So we're in the same program and whatnot. But I want to be able to be a recruiter. So our old coach, Coach Thatch, he was one of my. I was really close with him, and that's funny what he does for the NFL. So I want to be able to reach out to him eventually one of these days and see the process of getting to that. Because I think it'd be dope to be able to go travel the country to see the top athletes and be able to meet people and help them get to that next level type of thing. I like to interact with people, and I've always been a big believer in helping the next man out type of thing. So I think if I did go with the sports route, it would have to be that. But however, I do have a big dream of mine forever in my life. I don't know why it's always been this, but I always wanted to own like a nightclub or like a bar or something like that. Because I'm just coming from my family, like everybody likes to have fun. Like I remember growing up, waking up on a Saturday evening, music playing, mom's dancing, the sisters is going. So like I always had like that type of energy around me. So that's always been one of like my backdoor dream of opening my own bar or nightclubs kind of thing. So right now, me and one of my best friends, he's in the process of doing it now because he's already done with college and everything like that. So he's getting the blueprints down, finding the building for us. So he's starting it up right now. So shout out to him. So I have 2 years. Hopefully he has it done and it starts the process rolling. But yeah, so it's either if I'd stick with my master's program and go stay with the sports route, I want to be a recruiter. And just like either in college or in an NFL aspect like that. And if everything doesn't fall into place and I got to go to my plan C, which is my other dream, I would love to own my own bar and just have a good time and enjoy the time.
That'd be cool. Have you kind of been involved with like all the logistics side of things? Of course, finding the right place and like hurdling over like liquor licensing and stuff like that of like and all the kind of pains of like a small business owner.
Yeah, me and my brother, we pretty much had a deep conversation because we're young. So we know people are going to either overlook us or don't think we're serious. So that was the hardest part, was finding people that are willing to work with younger kids, like younger men type of thing. Yeah. And we don't want anybody to upsell us and stuff like that. And we're from Rochester. It's a big bar scene. So we use pretty much what like the bars we went to and what we seen that people like, and we want to do something like that. And pretty much he found the location. He's just trying to find the right fit for how we're trying to run our bar and things like that. So since I'm obviously not in Rochester and TT, I've been more of like, he'll come and brainstorm with me and see my opinion on it and like vent to me about it. But I don't have like my hand in the door yet, because he still wants me to focus on like my dream, my career, which is football and school. But other than that, yeah, me and him, we vent and we shoot the talk and stuff like that. Yeah, and it's going well, though. I'm excited.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I think there's also like some life lessons to be like learned from, from managing people or managing like a business or stuff like that, that I think anybody can use. And you might as well start young, because, you have so much time to recover, and you'd like to live with that regret, not live with that regret and be like, oh, what coulda, woulda, shoulda, and stuff like that. So I think it's awesome that you guys are following your dreams and stuff like that. D-Bert, you talked a little bit about being a scouter or kind of, being in sales or stuff like that, recruiting people. Is that like, that could be a route to GM? Is that like, and being in sports management, is that like another thought too? Is like, because there's been some scouts that have been able to work their ranks to be that GM side of things.
Yeah, of course. I mean, if the opportunity presents itself to level up and get to a bigger position to make a bigger change, I would love the opportunity to take that. But honestly, I like to travel and go around and see things, like see people and do things like that. So I wouldn't even mind being a recruiter or a scouter, so the part, and just be able to like travel and look at football and see the next coming up guys, everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I think like playing sports our whole life has taught us so many life lessons that we're going to be able to use in the real world, like structure, discipline, them type of things. So I feel like not only having the schooling background, getting our undergrad, getting our master's, but playing ball has taught us so many life lessons that whatever opportunities we do get, we're going to give it 110 and we're going to buy in and we're going to make it ours type of thing.
On the day.
Yeah, I think that's awesome. Talking a little about sports, you guys, have talked a little bit about that. Have you guys always had, like, as a kid, like a super passion for sports?
Yes,
of course.
Yeah.
What kind of made you fall in love with sports growing up?
The reason I fell in love with sports was just because it was my escape. I'm from the inner city, single parent, really violent area. But when I was on that baseball diamond, or if I was on that football field, I knew I felt comfortable, I felt safe, and I felt that the world was in my palm. So that was pretty much my motivation, was I can use this for my peace. I can use this to clear my mind.
Yeah.
And it went from that to, wait, I can probably change my life from this. I can break the script. Nobody in my family went to college. I have a college degree for free. Nobody in my family has a master's. I'm getting my master's paid for. Now my little brother, who's 11, he has somebody that he can look up to and be like, okay, I don't have to go left. I can go right, just like my brother did.
Correct.
And not even just him, not my family members, but people in my neighborhood. When I go home, all the kids look up to me, like they call me Day Day. They're like, yo, you did it. Like, how? Show me, talk to me. Like, now I love the opportunity to, like, I go home, I do camps with kids, I talk to people, I give out free gear. Like,
that's awesome.
Playing a sport changed my life. And that started when I was a kid, like you said, the motivation of just being able to change my own life to help my family life as well. So that was pretty much my motivation.
Can't top that, man.
It's all, we all have different stories and different backgrounds, which I think is so awesome about sports, right? Like D-Bert using it as a opportunity to change his family's life and change his atmosphere around him. I think that's awesome. I think we need more people like D-Bert, where, everyone, I think we get in our society of like, we believe everything should be given to us, and all these other things, man. We all got, at the end of the day, we got to work for it. I think that's so big, man. We got to be, and especially as college athletes, we got to set a good example, because we never know who's looking up to us, and being able to do that. So I think that's so awesome that, what you're able to do, D-Bert, is help, you're not just helping yourself, but you're helping a whole community, continually to be better. And you're setting an example to, show example and show that the world, everyone can do it. God's gifted some of us to be able to do certain things, but at the end of the day, we're all capable of doing it, whether it's at D-Bert's level or, and paving a way, but there's always a path for us to be able to, choose to be, hey, you can either go down a path that, might not be great for us, or we can go down a path that might be a lot harder. But at the end of the day, we're going to impact people, you know, at a high level, which I think which is awesome and stuff like that. But you know, you guys talked a little bit about, you know, Mazon, I see you got some awesome kind of like kind of bands there. You know, is there, you know, do you,
So
you have like there are certain places or bands that you kind of like, you know, like to get from or stuff like that?
So I actually have NIL with this place called Lifestyle Bands, and you guys can check it out at lifestylebands.com. The word lifestyle bands with an S.com. And I have a promo code, charge up 4. It's all caps, and 4 is the actual letter.
Awesome.
Charge up 4.
All
and
right.
you get 10 off of all shopping.
Yeah, might have to get one for myself. I'll have to add to the
You should get a
repertoire here.
couple. Yes,
I'll have to get
yeah,
one for the repertoire and wrap it on the TO show and give you guys a quick shout out. But guys, make sure you guys go check out Lifestyle Bands, man. You know, they got some awesome motivation bands. I'm gonna have to get one myself. Maybe we'll get them and do a little quick giveaway to all the fans out there to be able to do that. But the link will be in the description. You guys can go to the website. I think we're going to be giving some out. We're going to get some and give some out to free to some people in the comments here and be able to do that. So make sure you guys go check them out. You know, it's going to be some awesome stuff. But do you guys have any quick shout outs or anything you guys want to say to the viewers before we wrap things up here?
If you're in the Albany area, Albany, New York, make sure that you check out the Barber Lounge. Make sure that you tell Kendu Mazon sent you. The address is 370 Northern Boulevard in Loudon Plaza, Albany, New York.
I would like to say a shout out to Rochester, New York. My little brother's birthday is coming up, so happy birthday to you, little bro. I love you. All my family, to you, T.O., because you always been a solid guy, man, ever since I met you in Albany. So just show love to you. Shout out to Albany, the coach's staff is. Shout out to New Haven, all of that. Yeah, man.
Yeah, awesome. This has been awesome. I appreciate you guys coming on, man. And Mazon's just a superstar with all the NIL deals here. You know, Mr. Superstar here. But hey, guys, thanks guys for coming on the TO show, man. You know, this was an awesome episode. I think it gives some awesome light to people who maybe even thinking about the transfer portal. And hey, make sure you guys are just continuing to take your emotions out of it. Make sure you guys just talk with other people, whether I would even talk outside of your parents and stuff like that. Be able to talk to people outside of your circle to get their opinion and stuff like that, and really think this through. Don't make any emotional decisions that you might regret for the rest of your life and stuff like that.
My DMs are open. If anybody needs help, my DMs are open.
All of our DMs here are open. So feel free to ask us about any questions you guys might have. Our Instagram, Twitter is always on here. So guys, make sure you guys go check that out, give a follow. And before we wrap things up, guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and check out Mazon's Superstar NIL deals. And until then, peace, guys.
Hold on. Hey, Ma. Hey, Dad. Hey, Miles. What's up? Love y'all.
Peace out, brother. Love you, man.
Appreciate you, man.